To the outside world, Sean "Diddy" Combs is untouchable. A self-made mogul, an icon of music, fashion, and success. But fame is often a double-edged sword, and for those who enter his orbit, the price of his attention can be devastating. This is Tasha's story. A young woman who dared to step into Diddy's world. She had a dream, to make it big in music and dance. But instead of opportunity, she found herself caught in a web of control, manipulation, and fear. And unlike so many others, she escaped. Her escape wasn't just a chance at freedom, it was a fight for survival. This is her truth. The truth no one wanted to hear. Born in Harlem in 1969, Sean Combs was no stranger to hardship. His father's murder when Sean was just 3 years old left a void in his life, a void he would spend decades trying to fill. He wasn't just talented, he was relentless. By the time he founded Bad Boy Records in 1993, Sean had already established himself as a force to be reckoned with. Artists flocked to him, hungry for a piece of his Midas touch. But with great power came great controversy. Even in the early days, whispers of Diddy's controlling nature began to spread. Staff described him as demanding, artists felt suffocated, and insiders learned quickly, crossing him was a mistake. Tasha grew up far from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. For her, music wasn't just a passion, it was a lifeline. By her early 20s, she was chasing that dream in Atlanta, balancing gigs as a dancer with songwriting sessions that fueled her ambition. When the invitation came, it felt like a miracle. Diddy's parties were legendary, an opportunity to meet the right people, to be noticed. Tasha didn't think twice. She had no idea that night would change her life forever. The mansion was like something out of a movie. The energy was electric, the rooms buzzing with laughter and music. And then, there he was, Diddy. Charismatic, magnetic, larger than life. At first, it felt like a dream. Diddy promised her the world, record deals, collaborations, a fast track to fame. But as the weeks turned into months, the dream started to feel more like a nightmare. Bit by bit, he stripped her of her independence. It started with small things, asking who she was talking to, suggesting she focus only on her career. But soon, he was controlling every aspect of her life. He told her it was for her own good. That she needed him to succeed. But Tasha began to feel trapped, like a bird in a gilded cage, beautiful, but caged all the same. Diddy's charm was undeniable, but it masked something far more insidious. He had a way of making you feel seen, as if you were the most important person in the room. But behind the compliments and promises lay something far darker, control disguised as mentorship. He used what psychologists call intermittent reinforcement. One moment, he'd shower her with praise, telling her she was destined for greatness. The next, he'd tear her down with brutal precision, pointing out flaws she didn't even know she had. It was a calculated game, designed to keep her constantly seeking his validation. His control extended far beyond the studio. Diddy insisted on knowing every aspect of Tasha's life. He would text her incessantly, demanding updates on her whereabouts, her conversations, even her thoughts. If she didn't respond quickly enough, his messages turned from sweet to menacing. "Where are you? Why didn't you answer me? You need to stop wasting my time if you want this opportunity. Do you want to fail? Because that's what's going to happen if you don't start listening to me." It wasn't just about keeping tabs, it was about creating a constant undercurrent of fear. She knew every interaction carried the risk of setting him off. In public, Diddy played the role of the supportive mentor, always quick to introduce her as the next big thing. But behind closed doors, his tone changed. If Tasha spoke to someone he didn't approve of, she would hear about it later, long, drawn-out monologues designed to make her question her own judgment. "Do you know how many people would kill for the chance I'm giving you? And you're out here making me look bad?" You need to decide if you're with me or against me. He framed every demand as if it were for her own good. I'm teaching you the game, he'd say. But the game always seemed rigged in his favor. Diddy's manipulation often came cloaked in the guise of perfectionism. He pushed her to work harder, rehearse longer, claiming that anything less than perfection was unacceptable. You think Beyoncé gets tired? You think Rihanna quits when it gets hard? If you can't handle this, maybe you're not cut out for greatness. He made her believe that the constant exhaustion, the isolation, the fear, it was all part of paying her dues. That suffering was the price of success. Events she had to attend, things she had to do to prove her loyalty. Saying no wasn't an option. Refusing him meant risking not just her career, but her safety. He had ways of ensuring compliance, confiscating her phone, restricting her access to money, making her completely dependent on him. It wasn't just control, it was ownership. Diddy wielded humiliation like a weapon. In front of others, he would make cutting remarks, disguised as jokes, that left her feeling small. Don't look so scared, Tasha. You're supposed to be a star, remember? It was a way of asserting dominance, reminding her, and everyone else, who held the power. Scene: Tasha is forced to participate in an afterparty despite begging to go home. The room is filled with tension as Diddy looms over her. Voiceover. There were unspoken rules, events she had to attend, things she had to do to prove her loyalty. Saying no wasn't an option. Refusing him meant risking not just her career, but her safety. He had ways of ensuring compliance, confiscating her phone, restricting her access to money, making her completely dependent on him. It wasn't just control, it was ownership. The longer she stayed, the more she saw. Things that couldn't be unseen. Behaviors that crossed lines she didn't know existed. By now, Tasha understood the stakes. Loyalty wasn't optional, it was demanded. And the price of defiance was steep. But even as she smiled for the cameras, her mind was racing. She knew she couldn't stay. The cost of loyalty was too high, and the longer she stayed, the more she lost herself. Leaving wasn't just dangerous, it was nearly impossible. Every move she made was monitored. But Tasha knew if she didn't act soon, she might never get another chance. She didn't look back. With every step, she felt the weight of his world lifting. But freedom came with its own challenges. Tasha's world had become a prison. Every step she took was watched, every word she said monitored. And yet, she knew she couldn't stay. Tasha knew she couldn't leave without a plan. She waited for the right moment, when Diddy was away on business, when the eyes watching her were distracted. In the dead of night, she made her move. She left behind her phone, her social media accounts, and her life in Diddy's world. It was the only way to truly be free. Starting over wasn't easy. For years, Tasha lived in fear, changing her name, moving from city to city, and staying out of the public eye. But slowly, she began to heal. By sharing her story, Tasha hopes to expose the abuses of power in the entertainment industry and empower others to speak out.